All right, welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping straight into a story that is honestly just completely fascinating. It's this incredibly powerful look at how making one fundamental shift in your internal mindset can literally rewire your external reality. And look, this isn't just some story about making a quick buck, not at all. It's a deep, deep dive into self-worth, how we create value, and our core identity. So if you've ever found yourself wondering just how much your own self-perception might be acting as a ceiling on your potential, well, you're in the right place. We're going to map the whole thing out for you step by step. So let's get right into it. What actually separates a beggar from a businessman? At first glance, you'd probably say it's obvious, right? It's a bank account balance, or maybe a tailored suit or a fancy corner office. But our source materials suggest the answer goes way, way deeper than any of that surface level stuff. The real difference? It lies entirely in a state of mind. And the true answer to this question is hidden right inside the pretty remarkable journey we're about to break down together. Okay, so our story kicks off at a bustling city railway station. Our main guy here is a beggar, and every single day his routine is exactly the same. No variation. He walks up to the passengers sitting in the trains passing through, and he asks for alms just to fill his stomach. That's it. His entire existence, really his whole worldview, revolves around this one-way street, asking people for something without ever offering a single thing in return. And the crazy part is, he truly believes this is just who he is. It's his fixed place in the world. But then, one day, that whole routine gets totally turned upside down. The beggar spots this tall, really well-dressed guy in a sharp suit, clearly someone with money. And he walks up to him, fully expecting a generous handout. But instead of tossing him some coins, this tall businessman delivers a pretty harsh but totally transformative truth. He looks right at the beggar and asks, "You are always asking. Do you ever give anything to anyone?" Naturally, the beggar says he's way too poor to give anything to anyone. And the businessman? He responds with absolute brutal clarity. He says, "If you have nothing to give, you have no right to ask." He tells the beggar that he's a traitor. He only believes in transactions, and he's only going to give something if the beggar has something to give back. And with that, he boards the train and is gone. Man, that sharp rejection introduces us to this core concept we're calling the law of exchange. See, the businessman operates strictly on this give and take rule. It's this natural principle that literally all successful traders understand. You absolutely must provide value in order to receive value. But this concept, it completely short-circuits the beggar's brain. The businessman's words just pierce right through him, and he spends 2 whole days agonizing over it. He's sitting there thinking, okay, maybe the reason I barely get any money is because I give absolutely nothing in return. But come on, I'm a beggar. What could I possibly have to offer? Now, what's really fascinating here is how perfectly these two mindsets clash with one another. Think about the beggar's traditional mindset. Begging, it's a mindset completely reliant on pity. It's asking without giving. Fundamentally, it's a mindset of deficit. But then compare that to trading. This is the businessman's philosophy of give and take. It's a mindset of abundance and value creation. The beggar finally realizes that as long as he stays stuck in that first mindset, he is going to remain exactly where he is forever. He decides right then and there, he absolutely has to find a way to shift his approach. So, flash forward to the 3rd day, and it hits him. A literal light bulb moment. Sitting near the station, he spots these beautiful wildflowers blooming on some nearby plants, and he comes up with this incredibly clever little experiment. Step 1, he goes and plucks these free wildflowers. Step 2, whenever he walks up to the passengers on the train now, if someone gives him alms, he's going to hand them a flower in return. He finally has something to offer, and he puts this plan into action immediately. And wow, the results? Instantaneous. Our source tells us that people were absolutely delighted by this. They happily accepted the flowers, and in return, the beggar realized he was suddenly pulling in significantly more money than he ever had before. But here is the really fascinating catch to all of this. He noticed that as long as he had flowers in his hands to distribute, the money kept flowing in. But the exact second he ran out of flowers, the donations stopped cold. I mean, it was an undeniable real-time feedback loop proving the law of exchange was 100% real. So he keeps this new routine going, right? Until one day, who does he spot sitting on a train? That exact same tall businessman, the very guy who sparked this whole crazy experiment to begin with. The beggar rushes up to his window, super enthusiastic, and says, "Today I have some flowers to give you. If you give me alms, I will give you flowers in return." The businessman hands him some money, takes the flowers, and with this huge approving smile, delivers this incredibly powerful validation. He says, "Wow, what a thing. Today you've become a businessman just like me." I mean, those words hit the beggar like an absolute ton of bricks. As the tall man's train pulls away, the beggar is just left standing there on the platform, processing what just happened. The source actually describes his eyes literally shining with this new light. He realizes he holds the key to changing his entire life. Overcome with excitement, he steps back from the train, looks right up at the sky, and loudly declares, "I am not a beggar. I am a trader. I can be rich too." And of course, the bystanders on the platform look at him like he's totally lost his mind. But you know what? From that day forward, that beggar is never seen at that railway station ever again. Okay, so let's fast forward a bit. Exactly 6 months pass. A completely blank slate of time. Let's see what actually happens when someone fully 100% commits to a massive shift in their internal identity. Which brings us to their third meeting. Picture this. We're on a train, and two guys in super crisp, expensive suits cross paths. One man extends his hand to the other and asks, "Did you recognize me?" The second man politely says no, figuring this is just their first time meeting. But the first man smiles and says, "No, remember, this isn't our first meeting. It's our third." The second man is the tall businessman from earlier in the story. And in this stunning twist, the first man, the guy in the sharp suit, reveals that he is actually the former beggar from the station. It's just crazy when you look at how fast this all built up. The speed of this transformation is astounding. Think about it. On day one, he was a beggar, relying totally on pity, getting bluntly told he needed to provide some sort of value to the world. By day three, he's innovating, using free wildflowers to test out trading, and claiming a totally new identity for himself. And by month 6, he's standing there in a tailored suit, explaining to his old mentor that he is now a highly successful, large-scale flower merchant, literally traveling to another city to expand his empire. The transformation was so incredibly rapid, purely because the internal mindset shift was absolute. And here is the absolute kicker, the crucial realization of the whole story. The former beggar explains his journey to the tall businessman. He says, "You know, I always considered myself a beggar, but when you told me I was a businessman, I finally understood why people were giving me so much money." Guys, they weren't giving him alms at all. They were actually just paying for the flowers. Because honestly, where else could they get such beautiful, cheap flowers handed right to them at their train window? He tells the man, "In the eyes of the people, I was already a small trader, but in my own eyes, I was still a beggar." He just needed to recognize his own value first. Once he finally saw it, he took his flower money, bought more flowers, and scaled his tiny little operation up into a massive business. So, pulling this all together, this story brilliantly illustrates 3 core lessons we really need to take away from this explainer. First off, you have got to awaken your self-respect. If you internally see yourself as small, you are going to permanently remain small in the real world. Second, you have to think bigger about yourself. Success is entirely hidden in your thinking. Your external reality is only ever going to match your internal identity. And finally, the natural rule of life is that you must give value to receive value. The greatest success always comes when you figure out how to offer something meaningful to the world around you. Which leaves us with a pretty major question for you to chew on today. Take a hard look at the situations in your own life, your career, your relationships, your big personal goals. Are you operating from a mindset of deficit? Are you just asking the world to hand you things? Or have you stepped into your power? Are you actively finding ways to create and offer real value? Ask yourself honestly right now, in your own life, are you begging or are you trading? Thank you so much for joining me to explore this incredible source material today. Keep thinking big, and I'll catch you